A tier list says a lot about a character's strengths and weaknesses, but it's not the end-all be-all. Individual skill still matters. Today we're going to watch some duels from the perspective of the Berserker, one of For Honor's strongest characters. Let's get started. For our first match of the day, we're going up against the Valkyrie, one of the weakest, if not the definitive weakest character in For Honor. Her only saving grace is that she has fast light attacks. And from the looks of it, she does not want to fight anywhere where she can be ledged, trying to give herself as even a match as possible, even though she's at a disadvantage for being on a weaker character. Now, there's a million and one problems for the Valkyrie. I'm not going to list all of them off right now, but she's off to a great start, just being relentless with her attacks, and that's overwhelming us, catching us off guard. We're getting hit, taking a ton of unnecessary damage, even messing up our trade there. We were sending out that top-heavy unblockable, and we canceled it when we could have gotten some damage. And this time, our commitment not going to yield anything, but the Valkyrie threw away the victory by going for a heavy attack on the heavy parry, but it's not going to matter. She's going to poke us in the face right between the eyes from the looks of it. So it looks like just a relentless pressure is enough to keep us a little bit off balance here. Not a lot of players are willing to commit so heavily to their attacks, and it's definitely throwing a wrench in our gameplay. Let's see if that changes in the second round. We can be a little bit more wary of the relentless pressure now. We can adjust our gameplay accordingly. But so far, it doesn't seem like we're doing a great job adapting, but we finally got off a little bit of a trade because of the hyper armor, so this is our opportunity to make a comeback. We caught a dodge, landing a heavy attack for the execute. So definitely the superior damage of the Berserker showing in full force there. The Valkyrie hit us a number of times, even landing a heavy attack, trading with our forward dashing light, but the continuing pressure was way too much. That side heavy taking off a massive chunk of health, and the follow-ups, you know what happened. So let's get into round 3. The adjustment period, though, when you're fighting someone new for the first time is always a bit tricky, but at this point we know the pressure is coming, so we landed a deflect on the second light attack in the Valkyrie's chain. Unfortunately, though, not going to defend against her this time, getting caught by the double lights and the spear sweep, knocking us on our ass for a little bit. We do have the health advantage, swinging wildly as the Valkyrie backs to safety, but dodge canceling the recovery so we don't get caught with any shenanigans. Now, one more hit from either side will be the end of the round. Dodge canceling the recovery time on the unblockable attack, using that to press the advantage. So we're seeing some really textbook Berserker play here, just swinging wildly but being very conscious of the fact that we can cancel the recovery times on our missed attacks, and using the hyper armor to trade through the Valkyrie's light attack and get the heavy attack for the execute. Sitting on match point, if we continue playing the way we did in the previous round, this will be in the bag for us. The Valkyrie continuing up the pressure, not opting for a more methodical playstyle, and she's going to get punished a bit for it, landing a light parry, going for the top heavy punch, not going to try and continue our chain by going for a side heavy. Instead, another light parry going to put her out of stamina, this time opting to continue the chain, and it was absolutely worth it. The first match victory is going to go to us, and I think it's due in large part to the fact that the Valkyrie was a bit too predictable, a bit too aggressive on a character that benefits from using as many mix-ups as possible. The Valkyrie's tools may not be the best, but she has a lot at her disposal that we didn't really see from this particular player. But we definitely got a good taste of what the Berserker can do, using the ability to cancel recovery times with dodge and a number of other things over the course of the rounds. The final match for the day, we're going to go Berserker versus Conqueror. So these are two incredibly high-tier characters, very powerful, but for different reasons. The Conqueror is a juggernaut of defense, the Berserker, the king and or queen of offense. Conqueror starting off by feinting his heavy attacks with the full block stance, but not holding the full block long enough to get the shield uppercut. Now, our opponent did run out of stamina, but he's keeping his cool, not falling for any of our tricks, and he landed a heavy parry, knocking us out of stamina. This time, though, we are going to fall for the oldest trick in the book, dashing forward, catching us with a guard break as we tried to dodge out of the way of a shield bash that never came. Now, at this point, even if we do turn things around a little bit, we're going to have a long way to go, but it's very difficult when you're fighting against the Conqueror in that last segment of health. All it takes is 1 or 2 shield bashes to finish you off, and those can also be mixed up into guard breaks. So we've got a real challenge on our hand with this player, but also the Conqueror overall is a dangerous opponent to fight, especially if you rely pretty heavily on feinting into another attack, which the Berserker does quite often. You feint an attack, go for a light attack immediately after. If the Conqueror makes a good read with his full block stance, he can get a flail uppercut for a massive amount of damage. That, of course, may not be the MO for this player. Every time he feints a heavy attack, his full block stance is nowhere to be seen, so he's really just using it to feint the attack and keep us on our toes, make deflecting a bit more tricky, make parries a bit more dangerous to go for. And once again, we're going to get caught by the oldest trick in the book, getting finished off by the guaranteed heavy and the light attack follow-up, just not going to block fast enough. So right now, we're getting a bit tilted here, making a lot of bad plays, but we did have one good moment. We went for an unblockable heavy attack. We could have traded some damage with the Conqueror, but our health was so low that trading at that point may not have been a good idea. Jumping right back into the action, the Conqueror is on match point, so we're going to have to do something drastic if we want to make a comeback. Feinting the unblockable heavy twice, the second time into a guard break, that is not going to connect, unfortunately. This time, though, we're turning on the pressure pretty severely, not falling for the same trick that put us in the grave in the first 2 rounds. The Conqueror dashing forward again, trying to mix us up with that guard break, but we're going to avoid that mix-up with a dodge attack. It looks like we've got a good rhythm going against this guy. Doing a little bit of risky stuff there, though. Feinting a heavy attack into a dodge attack. That's parry bait, if I do say so myself. Continuing the pressure, though, swinging with those heavy attacks, feinting the unblockable again, but we've run out of stamina. This is a terrible place for us to be in, especially in the corner. Thankfully, we managed to dodge away, avoiding the shield bashes. I think we've got this one if we can just get one more good hit in, and there it comes, a light attack on the top. So we need 2 more wins if we want to walk away with the match victory, but that is not going to be easy against the Conqueror. We've got to have nerves of steel as to not get caught by the shield bash and the mix-ups that are centered around it. But this guy, man, it's a tough fight. He has a rock-solid defense, and his offense is pretty on point as well. We tried to catch his full block feint with a guard break, but we weren't fast enough. We're going to have to read that if we want to get the punishment. The worst thing that's happening right now is we're fighting on the Conqueror's terms. He is winning by controlling the flow of combat. We're backing up constantly, and when we do connect our hits, it's almost like we're not ready for them, not going into that top-heavy unblockable nearly as much as we should. So really, there's not a lot of threat for the Conqueror when we're just feinting heavy attacks into light attacks on the top or side. But if we go into those unblockables, then he has to be scared. And we also have to be afraid when we use dodge attacks from neutral. It's parry bait, just like I said. We're going to get our head torn off of our body. So unfortunately, that's going to do it for us. We put up a good fight in the 3rd round, but this mistake did us in. We went for a heavy attack, canceled it with a dodge into a dodge attack, did the exact same pattern on the exact same side in the final round, and the parry was successful. But we did have that great burst of momentum using the top heavy unblockable to add pressure to the Conqueror's decisions. So we're going to wrap it up there, folks. We got 1 victory and 1 absolutely painful defeat, but overall I think we learned a lot about how we need to apply pressure and control the flow of combat, especially if we're playing a character like the Berserker that thrives when people are on the back foot, when they're scared of what's going to come next. So with all of that said, the name of the game is For Honor. The name of the channel is iBlueAirJGR. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Let me know if there are any low-tier characters that give you more trouble than they should. Or you could just say hello. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.